everybody. Welcome to On the Edge of Entertainment. This is my first installment of video podcasting, interviewing all of my very amazing, talented friends in the Las Vegas world of entertainment. And I am here today with Miss Tina Dawn. She's the most extraordinary singer. And I just want to ask you a few questions. How's it going, girl?
Hi, Cody. How are you?
Good. Now, where are you right now?
I am currently in Nashville on lockdown.
Yeah, well, we all have that in common, but that's so cool that you're out in Nashville. How's the weather?
Um, since I got here, we've had quite a bit of destruction. I came down to Nashville, and since the beginning of March, we had a tornado rip through this neighborhood, and we've had flash floods, and we've had horrific thunderstorms that knocked out power. And I actually think the street over from us still is out of power, and it's been almost 2 weeks. So we were really lucky it came back on within a day and a half, but a lot of people are still waiting. So it's been an interesting spring. It's done nothing but rain. And when the sun peeks out, everybody's outside going,
Wow.
yes.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you're safe. And I'm glad you're in Nashville. That seems like a cool place to be, maybe when things open up again. So anyway, I just wanted to tell people how I know Tina. So I think the first show that we did together was out in Niagara Falls, was it?
Yes. Oh, that was so much fun. What a beautiful venue. And it was such a great group of people.
It was amazing. And Tina was a singer in that show. So it was so amazing just to hear Tina sing because she's just like
Well,
ridiculous, amazing singer. And since then, she has now got on board with Legends as a Taylor Swift girl.
yeah, shake it off. Shake it off.
So that's so cool. So
Yeah, and
do you want to tell us about that?
sure. I started as a background singer with Legends in Concert probably 10 years ago. It was this insane thing that happened to me where I moved to Vegas for a job. The job fell through. I had no money. I had 2 suitcases, and at the time I had a little tiny bird, and now I have a big bird. And I didn't know what to do with myself. I was applying at places for jobs and not really getting anywhere. And I had a dream. This is really, I don't know if you believe in this kind of thing, but I had a dream
I
that was
do.
very vivid. And I was in Italy, and I was on a tiny little boat going around an island with this small group of people that in my dream, I was so in love with every single person in that group. And I didn't know who they were. When I woke up, I had no idea who they were. I just remember the day before I was miserable. And when I woke up from that dream, I had never felt so happy since I had moved to Vegas than when I woke up from that dream. And I was like, I think that was Italy. I have to go to Italy. And I'm not kidding you. Just a few days later, John Anthony, who plays Rod Stewart.
Mm-hmm. Good friend.
Yeah, he's great. He invited me to go have drinks just to get out of the house. And he gave me a magazine and he said, hey, I feel like you'd be a great Lady Gaga. So here's a magazine with Lady Gaga in it. And take a look at it, see if it's something you want to do. And I said, well, I feel like I'm more of a background singer. And he said, well, I think Legends is hiring for background singers for the cruise ship. And it's going to Italy and Spain. And I went, boom, light bulb.
Wow, that's so weird.
Yeah. And he asked if he wanted to put a good word in for me as far as getting an audition spot. I said, yes, please. I said, I just have this feeling that I have to go to Italy. And so I went into that audition a few weeks later, really confident. And I don't actually audition well. I'm super introverted. And the idea that people are sitting there judging you, it scares me. So I had opened the magazine that he gave me the day before the interview. And there was this beautiful painting in the magazine. And it was an ad for an art gallery in Las Vegas. And it had this painting of a ship with sails made out of butterflies. butterflies. And I have a thing for butterflies, which is the whole
Wow.
story. But it said, a new journey begins soon. And I ripped that thing out and I stuck it on my pin board and I said, I'm getting that job. I'm going to Italy. And I got the job. I went to Italy. And no more than a couple weeks after we actually arrived in our port in Italy, my cast and I took a ferry over to Capri. And I think, have you been to Capri?
No, I didn't get to do that tour.
Well, it's this amazing, I hope you get to go at some point. It's this amazing blue Mediterranean water, and it's an island just off the coast of Naples. And we got there and decided to rent a small speedboat. And the second I got on that speedboat and we started the engine and we were going around the island, I started crying and I said, this is the dream I had. You guys were the people I loved. It was my cast. It was my other background singers and musicians. And I said, I had this dream. I dreamt that we were here and I had never been happier. And I'm so happy right now. And that was the beginning of, oh, sorry, honey. That was the beginning of my working with legends, was a 6-month contract going to Italy and Spain for, gosh, it was the best 6 months of my life.
Well,
And
that's
I'm actually confident. Sorry.
what?
I'm actually confident as a background singer. It wasn't until recently that I actually found my voice and found my confidence as a lead. So when I started doing Taylor Swift and kids kept coming up to me at some of the shows thinking I was her and hugging me and giving me all this love, I just thought, what a wonderful thing that I've never gotten to do before, where I get to share this with children, adults, anybody, and it makes them so happy. So that's really what moved the tribute act forward for me.
Oh yeah, and Taylor Swift is a great act to play, and she's relevant and everything, and that just sounds amazing. But it's interesting to hear that you might not have had confidence as a lead when I know you as such an incredible singer, and it just
Thank you.
that blows my mind, because I mean you should have your own album and stuff. I mean, were you classically trained or?
Yeah, so when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a singer. I started out singing Disney movies, which I think a
Oh
lot
my
of kids
gosh,
start that
yes.
way.
I could totally see you doing that. In fact, I think you did that at the time that we were working together. You did a lot of that backstage.
Oh, I'm still obsessed with Disney. And the weird thing is I've never been to Disneyland. I've been to Disney World once when I was 19, but I've
I've
still
never
never
been to Disney
oh,
World. Yeah.
oh
Oh.
yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh, that's so fun.
that yeah, that's how I started. And then I started doing some shows that were like local theater production shows. And that sort of got me into more theater and classical. And when I would take voice lessons, it was mostly classical training. It was a lot of Italian arias, some show tunes. But to go from Italian arias to wanting to sing pop was a huge transition for
Oh
me.
yeah, I hear that. I mean, I've always been in the pop realm, but I hear it's very difficult for people who are classically trained to sing pop.
It's a whole other ball game.
A
I had to
whole
really
new world.
there will be.
There she goes.
I actually feel now that my voice is stronger in the poppier stuff than in the classical, because I just haven't done classical. And actually, so I was warming up in Alabama for my last Legends in Concert gig where I did Taylor Swift, and my boyfriend Kyle was visiting, and he had never really heard me sing classical, but I find it very soothing to warm up to classical music. So I was in the bathroom wailing, and he was beside himself. He's like, "What? You can sing like that? I've never heard you do that." It was like some Pavarotti, like,
Oh
ah!
my gosh. I love that. And every time we talk, we do some video chats sometimes, and I know every time we talk, you always end your messages with some kind of little riff, and it's just a great, you've got more energy than anybody in the world, and you have a little friend, your little friend.
Yes.
on
This
your
is my little
shoulder.
red chicken. You want to say hi? So I'm teaching her how to fly, and we've been using the hair dryer to teach her how to actually spread her wings because she was a rescue and she's been clipped her whole life. They clip their feathers so they can't fly, so they can't get away and be in danger.
Oh, wow.
But I would love them to grow back. It takes about a year for them to come in fully. I would love for her to be able to actually fly. And I was going to get her a harness so we could go outside. But when
Oh
you put
my
the blow
God.
dryer on her, she feels like she's flying and she goes, woo!
Oh my gosh, you are the sweetest. Like, I know that you're really into animals and you're really into gardening and stuff like that. So it's really nice. It's, you
Thanks.
know, tell me about like how did you get into showbiz in general? Like, or was the legend stuff your first real job?
You know, I always would go out and do singing competitions. I grew up in New Hampshire and I was like little country bumpkin. And
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. It was like behind our house, maybe 5 miles of woods.
Cool.
And I would go out back and sing to the birds. I would put bird seed in my hand. I was like, I wanted to be Snow White so badly. I would
Aw.
put seed in my hand and sing to the birds. So that was my first practice. But as far as real gigs, I actually went to Berkeley in Boston music school for 4 years and got a songwriting degree, which I got because I thought a performance degree wasn't really relevant. I took classes on performing, but when I was there, they taught you how to front a band. And so I joined a wedding band, a gig band, and we would do all kinds of weddings on the East Coast. I would travel to Connecticut and Maine, and it was weddings, so it was always on the weekends, so we weren't in school. So I'd be 5 days a week in classes, and then all of a sudden up and go to Maine and do 2 weddings in a day, or
Ooh.
go down to Connecticut and do somebody's retirement party. So that's really how I got started as far as being a professional singer. But I always wanted to be a pop singer. I always wanted to be someone on the radio. That was really what I strived for a long time. Until I got to Vegas and joined Legends and found out that I really, really just like performing on stage, background singing, and the Taylor Swift stuff is fun for me because I actually really like her music. It's in the genre that I would write and sing in. So, yeah, that's a
You know what?
long answer for you, but
Yeah, and I totally love it too. I mean, there's something about live performing. Like I grew up acting in Los Angeles, and it just wasn't my thing. And I sang, with people and stuff too. But the actual getting up on stage and the live performing is just such an amazing career. I love it more than anything that I've done, and I've done a lot of different things.
and you are so good at what you do too. You guys, if you haven't seen Cody perform, you have to. She does Gwen Stefani, and you would think you're watching Gwen Stefani. She does Madonna, Lady Gaga, and your transformation, I have to say, I had a hard enough time just transforming myself into Taylor Swift. But you do several characters, and you do all of them really exquisitely well.
Oh, thank you. I
Don't
think
know
once
how.
once you get one down, I feel like you kind of know what it is that it takes to have the other one down. But it was really difficult for me to put together Gwen Stefani. And,
Really?
yeah, it really was. And I had to actually, I was rehearsing in front of a mirror for the longest time, and I just couldn't get it down. And I had to sit down and close my eyes, and I was just too exhausted to go on anymore, but I really needed to still rehearse. So I sat down and I
Yeah.
just closed my eyes and just decided to do it kind of like lazy. And what ended up happening is I saw it in my mind even better than doing it in person. And of course, I wasn't really nailing it. So I saw it in my mind and it just happened. And now I recommend that to people for kind of like a trick, because I
That's
feel like
amazing.
in your mind's eye, and you can create things a little bit deeper you know? It's like
Yeah,
that whole
I
thing
love
about
that.
tasting lemon and having, getting that sour feeling in your glands or whatever when you
Yeah.
know. So if you pretend to do it, you still get that feeling. It's a really interesting thing that the mind does. It's a powerful tool that we don't use
I
enough
love
of.
that. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize what goes into this. I'm going to put her down real quick because she's wanting to eat
Sure.
boogers off my jaw.
Take care of your baby.
Yeah,
Okay,
she's the
cool.
best. It's
Yeah.
actually really, really hot in Nashville right now. I'm going to take my jacket off too because I think summertime has come early.
Oh, yeah, no, it's hot here already. I mean, it's actually been cool this week, a cool 80, 82. So,
Woo, baby!
yeah, it's nice. It's perfect right now because, in about a month we won't even be able to go outside. So this is the time that we enjoy Vegas, right? You've been here.
Yes, I do.
Hey, do you have an embarrassing moment that you can share with us, like on stage?
Um, do you want an embarrassing moment in general that I can think about,
Sure.
or
Yeah,
just specific?
absolutely. Whatever works.
So this is actually one of the most embarrassing things that has ever happened to me, and it has to do with Vince Vaughn. I still feel like maybe in his mind, the character in Wedding Crashers was designed around me because he tells me that I remind him of Isla Fisher. And my embarrassing story was that my first time in LA, I was actually a little sick. I was jet lagged, and I think I was just coming down with mono because I was go, 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 go in my first year of college and not sleeping very well and living in the dorm. So, of course, everything's transferring from person to person when you're living so close to everyone. And
Mm-hmm.
the kissing disease, and hello, I was a freshman. No, so I was not feeling well when I got to LA, and I had one of my best friends to this day was managing me, and she was only a year older than I was. She was just starting out. I was her first artist. She wanted to be a music manager, an artist manager, and we flew to LA to go and try and rub elbows with people who could help with my career and hers. So we're driving around, and we passed the restaurant Swingers, which I guess is now closing, which is kind of sad because it was there for a long time. But Vince Vaughn was in the movie Swingers, and the restaurant was based around the movie. So we're driving by, and we pull over because both of us were trying to figure out where to go to eat. And my friend Julie goes, "Oh my God, that's Vince Vaughn outside at the table." And I had no idea who he was at the time. I was 19 years old. And she goes, Scarlett thinks this is a good story. She goes, I got out of the car thinking we were going to go eat. She locks me out of the car and says, "You're going to go sing for him." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "You're going to go sing for Vince Vaughn." I'm like, "How do you want me to do that? He's there having a business meeting with two guys in suits." She goes, "Just walk up to him and tell him who you are and ask if you can sing for him." Anybody who knows me knows that is way out of my comfort zone to just walk up to somebody and start singing, let alone somebody having a business meeting. So,
Oh my gosh.
because I was so jet lagged and a little loopy and not feeling well and very hungry, and she said she wasn't taking me to eat until I did this. I was like, all right, you only, we're in LA, I have to make connections. So I walk up to Vince Vaughn at this table and his two suit friends. And I said, "Hi, I'm so sorry to bother you." I'm like shaking at this point. Like, so sorry to bother you, but my name's Tina, and I'm a singer, and this is my first time in LA. And my manager's in the car, and she said that if I don't sing for you guys, that she's not going to take me to go eat. And I'm really hungry. And he looked at me like I was crazy.
Oh
And
my
he
God,
goes,
I bet.
"You can't sing." And he meant you can't sing as in, I'm having a business meeting, you can't sing right now. But 19-year-old me said, "He's telling me I can't sing. Hell yeah, I can sing." And I was like, "I keep on falling in love with you." And then I threw my business card with my picture on it and I ran.
Oh my gosh, that's a great story. I love that. Did anything ever come of it?
No, I got in the back seat and I cried. I was like,
Oh,
don't ever make me do anything like that again.
that's crazy. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, I thought that I looked like a loco person. And so to this day, I still think that like anytime a Vince Vaughn movie comes out, I'm like, oh God, where's my character? He's going to have some weird girl just like randomly start singing to him everywhere he goes.
Do you think that is what happened with that movie?
I don't know. I mean, Isla Fisher's pretty
Why didn't
awesome
they find you? Why didn't they find that girl? Dang it. Shoot.
because he probably threw my business card away thinking that I was literally a nut. So I've never
Yeah.
ever done anything like that since, which I'm proud to say. But that's my most embarrassing moment.
Oh, well, that's cool. I like that. That's a good one. Let me see. Is there any info, anything coming up for you that you want to get the word out and share with people?
Yeah, I actually just heard that Legends in Concert is reopening Branson. So
Ooh.
on June 5th, they're going to open that back up. I'm waiting to hear back whether I'm still going to be on it or not. I was supposed to be on it until the end of July. So we're just trying to work out some dates.
Oh,
So
cool.
hopefully I'll be on that. Shake it off. Shake it off.
All
Ah, ah.
right. Tina in Branson, maybe. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. And
so that's
yeah, definitely. Especially after all that we've been through, to kind of have something to come out on the other side of this with. And I hope that all works out for you.
it's a little
Um,
scary to be going out into public now that I've been held up in the house for almost 3 months straight.
yeah, I think
I
we
don't know
all
if I'm
feel
going to
that
know
way.
how to act around other people.
Yeah, I think we all feel that way. It's a weird time. So we'll just take it day by day and hopefully everybody's patient with us.
Yeah, grateful for that light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely. Now, I have one more question. So, do you have any positive advice for any budding entertainers that might be out there that might see what you do and think, wow, I want to do that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is just repetition. I was really lucky that even before I wanted to do a tribute act, a lot of people kept saying, hey, you kind of remind me of Taylor Swift. Like when I was younger up until now. There was a point where I had red hair and I didn't get that. But anytime that I'm back to like my natural dirty blonde, everybody's like, you look like Taylor Swift. So I guess I had kind of an easy shoe in that I already looked like her. For me, the hard part was trying to sound like her with that classical background that we were talking about. I have a lot of vibrato in my voice.
Mm.
So what I had to personally work on was straightening out my singing and not being so pretty when I sang. I had to pop it up and almost untrain myself to sing. But if you are starting out and you want to do something like this, it's just practice, practice, practice. Look at a picture of that artist that you want to portray and practice your makeup in the mirror. And then take a picture. I think the hardest part for me is I know taking pictures and videos of myself practicing is the best way to learn because you can watch it from a different perspective than just doing it in the mirror. But I also hate listening to myself. And so I'm the hardest critic on me, which is also a good thing because it makes me work harder. So if
I'll
you are
agree
going
with
to try
that.
something like this, videotape yourself
Oh,
and
yeah.
just practice because you also sound different in your head than you sound on recording. So if you think you sound like this artist, record yourself singing. And then most of the time when you're starting out, you go, darn it, I don't sound like her and I thought I did.
Yeah.
So just listen back and then adjust accordingly. Practice makes perfect.
Practice makes perfect, and that's true. And I agree with you on the well, for me, it's kind of like a perfectionism. Like I have to get things right, and I feel like that does serve us as entertainers. If you want to, if you want to grow your career. So good
Definitely.
advice,
You
Miss Tina.
nailed it. You
Nailed
nailed
it.
your characters.
Thanks. Well, girl, you keep rocking, keep being the energetic, amazing human that you are. And we're gonna put your information and photos and stuff under this video. and get your info out there and let people follow you.
Much love to you, my sister friend.
You
Woo!
too. Thank you
Stay
so
in
much for
contact.
joining me for my very first podcast.
Number one.
Woo, woo.
Thank you for having me.
All
Love
right.
you.
You too. Bye.
Bye.